if you're feeling a little rusty with your painting after Christmas and having a couple of weeks off, a great way to get back into it is to do something very sketchy, a very loose warm-up exercise without putting too much pressure on yourself. So what I'm doing here is I'm painting without drawing. I'm painting with a nice big flat brush with just a few colours, and nothing, no reference photographs or anything like that, just something from the head, just to loosen up and get going for the day and for the new year ahead. And Happy New Year to you all. So when you've not done anything for a little while, this is a good way to get going. So the reason for this YouTube video today was an article that I read in this morning's paper. So if you're here in the UK, this was in the newspaper this morning, but it was also on the news a little bit. And that was about creativity after the age of 60. And the stats, the data is showing that so many more people are taking up new hobbies and becoming more creative than they ever were in their 60s when they're reaching retirement. So people who never drew when they were children, much at school, people who didn't write or whatever, are now taking up new hobbies. And the sort of outcome of this was saying that these people, you live longer when you were creating. It wasn't just the fact that you had a hobby, because you could have a hobby doing something else, but the creative hobbies help you to live longer, keep your brain going, stave off Alzheimer's and all that. So that's been very much in the press this morning. So that was kind of a little bit on my mind, because it's so important. Hobbies are so important to us. But one thing I was kind of thinking about was that do you know that saying, when you marry your mistress, you create a vacancy? Something my mother-in-law often quotes, when people run off with a younger model. When you marry your mistress, you create a vacancy. And I think with hobbies, I don't know what made me think of this year, but when I was thinking about my own things that I want to do for the new year, when you have when your hobby becomes your business, then you create a vacancy. So in my case, when my painting hobby became my business and my work and my income, then I created a vacancy. I needed a new creative thing to do, a new hobby to do. So some of you may already know this. I've been doing quite a bit of writing recently, and it's really nice to have no pressure on the writing. I'm not doing it for a living. I'm doing it for fun, and I'm learning. And I think your brain really needs that exercise to do something different, because painting over time, we talk about muscle memory a lot with things like painting, and you really do develop that, particularly with your eye and your drawing. It becomes easier over time. So we need to stretch those muscles and use different muscles and different parts of the brain. So my new hobby is writing, and I'm going to talk to you a bit more about that over the coming months. I am working on a novella that I've done. I'm calling it a novella because it's not long enough to be a novel. And I've finished the first draft, and I'm going to be starting editing it. I've just started editing it in the last few days. And I'm not sure where that's going to go. I'll probably self-publish it. I'm not got any grand ideas that it will be so brilliant that, I'm going to get a publishing deal, but I'll do my best to get it edited professionally. And I was also I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I don't know about you, but what I tend to do is listen to podcasts when I'm doing very mundane jobs. So jobs that don't need your brain, like ironing and cleaning the house, doing a lot of spring cleaning at the moment. So I've always got a podcast on, and I've been listening to a lot of writing podcasts. And I was quite interested by the one yesterday. I can't think of the name of the man. If I find it, I'll put it down below. But really talking about AI and how to differentiate yourself from AI. And this is something that's relevant both to my artwork and to the writing. And I think really with the paintings, so if you're selling your artwork, I think the problem with AI is going to affect more our prints, because selling prints, you're going to have AI prints that people maybe not want to discern the difference between. They're very, very, very clever. I think the way forward as artists is selling our originals, where you can see the paint, you can feel the paint, you can see those lines, you can see your brush strokes. People know it's been made by the human hand. So how to get that into your writing is another thing, because they're becoming more and more advanced at the AI. So you'll see this sketch I'm doing here is very impasto, and you can see that paint. So that's something that, you know, a computer can't do that at the moment, unless you turn it into a robot, of course. So I think the way forward for artists and creatives in general, when you're selling anything to the general public, or, you know, learning and moving forward with your creativity, is to put yourself out there more and more, be more human. And this is what this man was talking about with the writing. So at the moment, things that are very subtle human traits, the AI can't really pick up on. So very subtle humour, very gentle humour, sarcasm, all these little types of things, AI isn't going to get. And you can see that in the subtleties of you know, the lack of subtlety in the writing that AI does. So there's lots of ways you can pick up whether something's been written by AI, but for me, it quite often sounds very stilted. So I think that what I'm getting to is that both with your painting and anything else that you're doing creatively, that was a big word, is you've got to put yourself out there and be more human, if that makes sense. So don't be afraid to show everything, to put everything down, to make mistakes. It doesn't matter about making mistakes, because that's what makes us human compared to the AI. So the AI isn't going to make a spelling mistake. It's not going to make, you know, lots of obvious mistakes. We may do, and show that. If you've got a YouTube channel, if you're teaching, if you're selling your artwork, if you're selling your writing, whatever you're doing, let the people know that your customers, that it is handmade, that you've touched it, you've made it, it's physically handmade, and that a human has produced it. So that was what I was taking away from this writing podcast that I was listening to yesterday, was that it applies to all creative things. It doesn't just apply to the writing, it applies to the painting as well. So now I've had a bit of a ramble, so just talking about my thoughts there. So like I said, I've created that vacancy for this new hobby of writing, and I am going to come back and talk to you about that, because if I ever do self-publish that book, I'll be putting it on here for you to see. So, but that's going to be a long way down the line. That could be another year or so. So this sketch, it's just in a mixed media pad. I've used the acrylic paints. I didn't use any drawing to set off with. I just wanted to make it feel cold. So the colours that I chose were quite cool. It's very cold in here today, so I'm not going to be talking for much longer because my studio is really cold. So I was giving that feeling of maybe early morning or late afternoon light with the peaches and the violets in the sky and the ground. So it's pretty abstract. It's not really indicating a sky and a ground. It's just these snowdrops in a cool setting. So I set off with the background, and I stuck to that one brush. Let me just have a look. It's a size 14 flat brush. I did some scraping out with the end of another plastic brush. That's a Royal Taklon brush, and they have this little angled shape at the end, so you can use them for scraping out. I didn't allow things to dry in between. I just kept going, and it just loosens you up for the day. And then when you go on to your next thing, you're going to feel like you're already getting in there with your mark making. So the colours I used were titanium white, alizarin crimson, cerulean blue, light violet blue, and I'm trying to think what colour I used for the yellow. It was a non-cadmium cadmium, if that makes sense. Cadmium-free cadmium. So yeah, so you don't need too many colours, but try and, if you want to do something wintry, set off with some cooler colours. And you'll see the stems don't even join up. It's not a brilliant drawing. It's just having a bit of fun, getting the drooping feeling of those snowdrops, getting some coolness in there and some winteriness in there, and just setting myself up for the day before I go and work on a landscape that I'm working on at the moment, that I started before Christmas, and I don't want to mess it up by going into that really cold and rusty. So get the studio heated up now, and then I can work on that. Okay, so any comments on that? If you want to let me know down below, let me know what you think about AI, if you think it's going to affect your area, what you're doing, and what your thoughts are on that. I'll tell you one thing I did do was I went into ChatGPT yesterday and I turned off, you can, if you go into the settings, And again, if you want to know how to do this, you can actually ask Google or something, it will tell you. But there's some settings which are kind of down on the left-hand side of ChatGPT's home screen. And if you go in there, you can turn off the sharing thing so that your work, anything you put in there, isn't then going into public domain. And I'm also not sharing any of my writing with ChatGPT because I don't want it to be in there. So this is, some things to consider. So I'm just using Google Docs for my editing, for my writing at the moment, and I use Grammarly. So Grammarly is great for, there's little spelling mistakes, little bits of grammar mistakes and things like that. So I'm not always the best at spelling, so that's handy for that. But that's as far as it goes with any kind of assistance. So like I was saying before, you want things to be human. You want them to show that it's coming from you and not from AI. Is don't use AI in anything that you're doing creatively. Right, okay, I think on that note, as I'm waffling a lot and using wrong words, I think I should go. So thank you very much for joining me today on YouTube. I'll hopefully be back again soon. I know my videos are very sporadic. I've got so many from years ago for those of you perhaps are beginners in painting and you want to learn how to do a snowdrop more, draw one better than this. You can look at some of those back catalogues of all my beginners YouTube videos from years ago. So from now on, really, it's perhaps just going to be me rambling a bit more, talking about business in general and the challenges we face going into 2026 with AI, etc. Okay, I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.